Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out some petty revenge because revenge is best served just hot. Harass my 18-year-old sister prepared to lose your job. Now, this happened over 6 years ago, so I'm a little bit fuzzy on all the details, but this is one of the proudest moments. I'm 8 years older than my sister, and although we didn't live in the same town anymore by the time she graduated high school, I was so excited for her attending university because she was applying for the same program as I did, and knowing her, she was going to freaking kill it in a way I never could. I am shy, awkward, and overall non-confrontational, whereas she is fierce, charming, and never backs down from a fight. Our brother in the middle is a perfect mix between these traits. Now, when she told me she was traveling down south for a conference related to a potential major, I believe, I was really excited for her. This conference also had a career fair, and it was going to be the first one she had ever attended. I gave her some advice about how to present herself. She had her resumes and some companies in mind, and I knew she was going to do great. Cue to the day after, and I get a call from her in distress. So she wasn't sure how a certain networking interaction went and wanted to ask me what I thought. There was a man from a certain company who took great interest in her resume. A freshman, not unheard of, but at this point she had very little experience. So he pulled her aside and wanted to talk to her further. He asked her which hotel she was staying at. She got nervous and said he should take her to dinner that evening. At the same time, this man, who she said looked older than her dad, reached out and stroked a strand of her hair. Ew, like it already makes you want to, makes your body curl up. At this point, she started crying, and I saw red. Big sis mode was on, like mom mode was already on. I asked her for this man's name and the company he worked for, and told her to avoid that table or company at all costs. I told her she did nothing wrong and was being extreme. Wait, the post said she was 18. That's an 18-year-old child. A man that looks older than her dad, and the sister is 8 years older than her. I'm just calculating the age in my mind. What was I thinking was going to happen with that kid? Ew. I told her she did nothing wrong and he was being extremely inappropriate. I told her to keep a buddy with her while she was still down there, and it was alright. She told me she was scared about talking to other companies in the future. Jeez, that's literally a child, and you just ruined the whole experience of going to a fair for her. How does she know if they really wanted her as an employee or if someone is going to be creepy? Also, as this man had her resume, apparently he texted that he was in front of her hotel, and she avoided responding because she was scared. Obviously. Because of this, she was scared to hand out her resume to other people, which makes sense. Okay, now I didn't think it was possible for me to be more enraged than I already was. She was 18, first career fair. Already she was terrified of career fairs because of this sleazy old fart. No, hell no. Not my freaking sister. The world would not take her shine. I told her that I would take care of it and hang up. So, Vixie's mode activated. What did she do? Like call his company?
Hello, I am calling from Microsoft Corporation. You owe me $20 Target gift card, or else you will be under the rest.
I told her that I'll take care of it and hung up. I immediately told my boss that I needed to take the first half of the day for a personal matter. Did she like find the man, go to that state? Okay, that's fine. First, I looked up this man's LinkedIn so I could put a face to the rage and disgust I felt. Then I contacted my own company's HR and asked what the procedure would be if an employee of ours engaged in behavior like this while on company time. Yeah, kind of makes sense because he's like representing that entire company at that fair, and he's doing that to potential new employees. That's disgusting. She had wonderful advice and urged me to contact this man's company's HR department as well. if he's not like a big man in that company, I can see his job literally walking away, like walking out of the room. So I did. I left a detailed email with what had happened, the employee's name, and the location of the conference and career fair where he had been representing their company. I left my name and number as well in case they wanted to know any more details, and I recall getting a call from the HR department soon after telling me they were taking this seriously and were going to investigate. This woman sounded very sympathetic. But then if like the HR just called her immediately, because I mean it's one employee and it's like a huge list of emails that I have to go through. But if they pick this up fast, I'm just like, I suspect this was not the first email from someone about that guy, because at his very old age, the bad behavior did not just start. He definitely had done that before.
Hopefully not.
The woman sounded very sympathetic. She told me that this man was someone that had been with the company for a while and had actually retired. So now he was mainly focused on recruitment for the company, somewhat on a consultant level. I would say by early afternoon, I received an email that this man had been let go from the company completely, and they thanked me for my report. Now that's a fast, swift, and a good turnout of events. The speed at which this happened leads me to believe this was not the first time. True, either that or his behavior was such a liability, sending a creep to recruitment, that it was so easy to just let him go, especially if he's been with the company for so long. Let me tell you that this was the most fulfilling crackle I had ever crackled in my days. I called my sister up and told her the news, and she was amazed. That kind of like, her big sister was her hero, just like wearing capes in her eyes. She thanked me, and we talked a little more about what to look out for when networking, and being pulled aside generally is a good thing. But it sucks that this person took advantage of that. I told her not to take this horrible experience as normal, because it was not, and emphasized that she did nothing wrong. The good news is 6 years later, she has her bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and has a stacked lineup of intern experiences. I think it's a mix of startup and big name industries, and is currently rocking her career at a meaningful startup in her field. I am still shy, awkward, and relatively non-confrontational. Are you sure about that? But if you come from my siblings, I go for blood. Yeah, definitely deserve that. Absolutely, the sweetest revenge ever had. I think that was like pro revenge from Big Says. My landlord thought he could pull one over me, but ended up learning the meaning of you should have read the fine print before you signed it.
This is Dr. G, a therapist with a 0-star rating on Yelp, which she claims is due to the fact that she only tells her clients the total unaltered truth.
Some context. I live in Germany, which has extremely strong tenant rights. I've been living in my apartment for about 8 years now. About 1 year after I first moved in, I got a letter from the company that owns the apartment building. In short, it said this: "Dear Mrs. X, we are canceling your existing rental contract. If you wish to continue renting this apartment, please sign this new contract with higher rent or move out in 30 days. Oh wow. That does not sound like a fair tenant right, does it? This scared the hell out of me. I was living in a city where the rent prices were skyrocketing, and I had just managed to find a long-term apartment and I could afford. As soon as I began looking at my options, it became clear that I was either going to have to fight what was essentially an eviction or move back to the United States and start building my life again, just after I had finally found some stability. After I asked around a bit, someone tipped me off to something called, okay, this thing is in German and I do not know, it starts with an M, M-I-E-T, so let's call it Miet. Mieterverian. That's probably more French than it is German, which is essentially a non-profit group that advocates for tenants' rights and gives its members the opportunity to get legal advice regarding their rights as tenants. I looked one up near me and booked it over to the office. I explained my situation, filled out some paperwork, and went to speak with the group's lawyer. I showed her the letter and my current contract, and she looked over it for a few minutes without saying a word. Obviously, she was reading it. Come on. After what felt like eternity, I know her life was literally hanging like, am I going home? Am I staying? Am I going home? Am I staying for the maybe 2 minutes that the lady was reading? Okay. After what felt like eternity, she looked at me and said in her most diplomatic German legalese, you have nothing to worry about. This letter is BS. Admittedly paraphrased that.
2 hours later.
Admittedly paraphrased. Okay, fine. I'm gonna start that paragraph again. This letter is BS. Admittedly paraphrased, but that's what it boils down to. She then turned to a page of the contract and pointed out a single line in it. No changes may be made to this contract unless both, and in capital letters, both parties consent to the proposed changes. In other words, as long as I refuse to sign the new contract, they can't do anything to me. Which is really stupid, because someone like me in a new country will just be like, you know what, I hate this, and then just sign and pay. Just like the cookies we accept on our computers every day, like just sign our lives away and then just pay and be angry about it. But good on you for fighting. So, in other words, as long as I refuse to sign a new contract, they can't do anything to me. I'm gonna stay there till I die. Or at least until the contract elapses. Like, the group's lawyer then sent a letter on my behalf to the company. I received a copy of it for my records as essentials. As essentially, it told the company that they would find themselves in some major trouble with the government if they continue to pursue the matter any further. Like, I'm in your house now for good. You're not taking me out of this. About a month went by and I heard nothing further. Then one day, a letter from the company arrived. The company basically admitted defeat and tried to cover its tail by saying that the letter was sent in error by an employee who is no longer with the company. Oh, like, I don't know, but like, obviously she's winning because she's not paying more money, but like, that feels like so much. I'm probably going to volunteer at that company because that feels like such a good win. For the next 7 years, I was just joking, but this person took my words literally, like she was meant to die in that house. For the next 7 years, it became an annual ritual. Company sends ominous letters telling me I'm getting kicked out. I forward the letter to MIT, and the MIT lawyers sends them a letter telling them to stick the letter where the sun doesn't shine. And then, after attempt number 8, the lawyer sent them another letter telling them to cut the crap and stop sending these letters every year. I haven't heard from them since. Okay, this person stayed in that building for 8 years. How long did the original contract state? Because it's not normal. Was it just like, you may live here for this amount for as long as you breathe air? Because that's like so good and such a good deal. And the person actually did not increase their rent for 8 whole years. Like, just think of your rent increases for the past 8 years and how much money you would have saved. You probably would have bought a house. But that is how petty we can get. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.